Welcome back to the conclusion of this epic battle with the whale Moby Dick. Today we'll start at the bottom of page 366. The last paragraph on 366 is where we pick up today with the final battle between Ahab and the whale. Remember, Ahab is in one of these boats that go closer to the whale. Okay, the boat is different than the ship. The ship is the Pequod, that's the main ship, and the boats hang on the side of it until they get in the water to fight the whale. So that's what Ahab and some of his men are in right now, the bottom of 366. At length, as the craft was cast to one side and ran ranging along with the white whale's flank, he seemed strangely oblivious of its advance. So they're right at the tail of the whale, and Moby Dick doesn't seem to know that they are there, as the whale sometimes will. And Ahab was fairly within the smoky mountain mist, which, thrown off from the whale's spout, curled round his great monadnock hump. He was even thus close to him, when, with body arched back, and both arms lengthwise high lifted into the pose, he darted his fierce iron and his far fiercer curse into the hated whale, like, "Argh!" As both steel and curse sank to the socket, as if sucked into a morass, Moby Dick sidewise writhed, spasmodically rolled his near flank against the bow, and without staving a hole in it, so suddenly canted or flipped the boat over that had it not been for the elevated part of the gunwale to which he then clung, that's the point that comes off the front of the ship. If you want to look on page 364, you can see the gunwale is that thing that sticks off the front of the ship. If you take a quick look, it's kind of an illustration of Moby Dick's tail and the boat. So that's what Ahab's hanging on to. So, had it not been for the elevated part of the gunwale to which he then clung, Ahab would once more have been tossed into the sea. As it was, 3 of the oarsmen who foreknew not the precise instant of the dart and were therefore unprepared for its effects. In other words, they didn't know Ahab was about to stab the whale, and so they weren't ready when the whale reacted and rolled into the boat. These guys were flung out, but so fell that in an instant 2 of them clutched the gunwale again, and rising to its level on a combing wave, hurled themselves bodily inboard again, the 3rd man helplessly dropping astern, but still afloat and swimming. Almost simultaneously, with mighty volition of ungraduated instantaneous swiftness, the white whale darted through the weltering sea. But when Ahab cried out to the steersman to take new turns with the line and hold it so, because he's got a harpoon in him with a line that's attached to the boat, and so commanded the crew to turn round on their seats and tow the boat up to the mark, the moment the treacherous line felt that double strain and tug, it snapped in the empty air. "What breaks in me? Some sinew cracks. 'Tis whole again. Oars! Oars! Burst in on him!" So the rope holding Moby Dick to the boat has snapped, but he's like, all right, that's it. Go after him. Hearing the tremendous rush of the sea-crashing boat, the whale wheeled round, he turned around, to present his blank forehead at bay. But in that evolution, so as he turned, catching sight of the nearing black hull of the ship, of the Pequod, seemingly seeing in it the source of all his persecutions, bethinking it may be a larger and nobler foe, all of a sudden he bore down upon its advancing prow, smiting his jaws amid fiery showers of foam. So the boat was going after him. The whale turned around to face the boat. As the whale's turning around to face the boat, he sees the ship, which is a bigger thing, and he says, you know what, I'm going after the ship, and starts heading straight for it, smiting his jaws. Ahab staggered. His hand smote his forehead like, "Oh, I grow blind. Hands, stretch out before me that I may yet grope my way. Is it night?" "The whale! The ship!" cried the cringing oarsman. "Oars! Oars! Slope downward to thy depths. Oh, see that ere it be forever too late, Ahab may slide this last time upon his mark. I see! The ship! The ship! Dash on, my men! Will ye not save my ship?" But as the oarsmen violently forced their boat through the sledge-hammering seas, the before whale-smitten bow ends of 2 planks burst through, and in an instant almost, the temporarily disabled boat lay nearly level with the waves, its half-waiting, splashing crew trying hard to stop up the gap and bail out the pouring water. So he's like, go, the whale's going after my ship. We got to go get it. And orders them to paddle toward it. But as they start, these like the boat's been damaged by the whale, and these planks open up and water comes into the boat, and now they can't move. Their boat is halfway flooded. Skip again to page 368. So turn the page and go to the very middle of 368 where it says from the ship's bows. From the ship's bows, nearly all the seamen now hung inactive. Hammers, bits of plank, lances, and harpoons mechanically retained in their hands, just as they had darted from their various employments, all their enchanted eyes intent upon the whale, which from side to side, strangely vibrating his predestinating head, sent a broad band of overspreading semicircular foam before him as he rushed. So he's coming after the main ship right now, and all the guys there are like, oh crap. Retribution, swift vengeance, eternal malice were in his whole aspect. In spite of all that mortal men could do, the solid white buttress of his forehead smote the ship's starboard bow till men and timbers reeled. Some fell flat upon their faces. Like dislodged trucks, the heads of the harpooneers aloft shook on their bull-like necks. Through the breach they heard the waters pour as mountain torrents down a flume. So Moby Dick, with all his might, smashed in the side of the boat, and there's a big leak, and there's all this water coming into the boat right now. The ship! The hearse! The second hearse! Cried Ahab from the boat. Its wood could only be American. So this goes back to the thing he said the Parsi told him about, you're going to see me again, and you're going to see a second hearse. That's the thing that's going to take you to your grave. So he's saying, oh, my ship should be my hearse. That's what I should be on, taking me to my grave, because a captain always goes down with a ship. Diving beneath the settling ship, the whale ran quivering along its keel, but turning underwater, swiftly shot to the surface again, far off the other bow, but within a few yards of Ahab's boat, where, for a time, he lay quiescent. Quiescent means he's just chilling, but he's right near Ahab's boat. I turn my body from the sun. What ho, Tashtigo! Let me hear thy hammer. O ye three unsurrendered spires of mine, thou uncracked keel and only God-bullied hull, thou firm deck and haughty helm, and pole-pointed prow. Death-glorious ship, must ye then perish, and without me? Am I cut off from the last fond pride of meanest shipwreck captains? O lonely death on lonely life! Oh, now I feel my topmost greatness lies in my topmost grief. Ho, ho! From all your furthest bounds, pour ye now in, ye bold billows of my whole foregone life, and top this one-piled comber of my death. Towards thee I roll, thou all-destroying but unconquering whale. To the last I grapple with thee. From hell's heart I stab at thee. For hate's sake I spit my last breath at thee. Sink all coffins and all hearses to one common pool, and since neither can be mine, let me then tow to pieces while still chasing thee, though tied to thee, thou damned whale. Thus I give up the spear. So this is his last speech here, and he's like, look, I couldn't kill you, whale, but I don't care. I'm never going to stop chasing you. I'm going to throw a harpoon in you with a rope, and you can drag me to my death, but I'll never give up trying to kill you. So second paragraph on 369. The harpoon was darted. The stricken whale flew forward. With igniting velocity, the line ran through the groove and ran foul. Ahab stooped, so the line, he threw a harpoon, it got into Moby Dick. The line's coming off attached to Ahab's boat, but it got snagged. It ran foul. Ahab stooped to clear the snag. He did clear it, but the flying turn caught him around the neck, and voicelessly as Turkish mutes bowstring their victim, he was shot out of the boat ere the crew knew he was gone. In the next instant, the heavy eye splice and the rope's final end flew out of the stark empty tub, knocked down an oarsman, and smiting the sea, disappeared in its depths. So Ahab, he tried to clear the line, the snag in the line, but the line then caught him around the neck, and it yanked him out of the boat, and he went underwater, chasing the tide to the whale, and no one sees him ever again. For an instant, the transboat's crew stood still, then turned. The ship! Great God, where is the ship? Soon they, through dim, bewildering medium, saw her sidelong fading phantom, as in the gaseous Fata Morgana. This is a mirage seen at sea. Only the uppermost masts were out of the water, while fixed by infatuation or fidelity or fate to their once lofty perches, the pagan harpooneers still maintained their sinking lookouts on the sea. So the ship's going down, but like Dashdigu, Queequeg, and Dagu, I think I said they're still on the poles, but the poles are going down into the thing, but they're still up there. Poles, mass, not poles, mass. And now concentric circles seize the lone boat itself and all its crew, and each floating oar, and every lance pole, and spinning animate and inanimate, all round and round in one vortex, carried the smallest chip of the Pequod out of sight. So the ship sinks. Skip again to the very last line, which is all about the last sentence, which is all about the theme of the story, which is that nature is majestic, elusive, and inevitable. No matter what we do, we are very small when you compare us to nature and its majesty and its wrath. So, last line on 370. Now small fowls, birds, flew screaming over the yet yawning gulf. A sullen white surf beat against its steep sides. Then all collapsed, and the great shroud of the sea rolled on as it rolled 5,000 years ago. Thank you for listening to me read excerpts of Moby Dick.